we will start this meeting, the Community Center Building Corporation meeting. Oh, are we good to go? Okay. So thank you and welcome everyone here at the Community Center Building Corporation meeting. And for those that are joining us via Zoom, we appreciate you being in attendance as well. And good to see everyone. And I know it's good to be seen. And I hope everyone had a wonderful Labor Day weekend. And so it's been a while since we met, and we have a few things to tidy up here. But first, why don't we go ahead and in your packet, each of you do have a packet. And in that, it includes the minutes, and I know these were sent to you in advance as well. So if I could get a motion for approval for the minutes.
I would so move.
Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second, and I'm hearing no amendments. All those in favor of approving the minutes, please specify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Thank you. The minutes unanimously pass. Thank you so very much. A little update on the board. Lee Marchant contacted us on August 18th and said that he resigned from the board. Of course, he resigned as president of the board and then also from the full board. And I want to give a shout out to Lee because he is the one and only president of this board since it's been organized 30 years ago. So he served on this board for 30 years. Is it 30 years coming up this month?
This month we
this
opened,
month.
yeah.
And we opened
September
this.
28th.
Yes,
We opened our
yes.
first event.
And of course, the board was created about a year before the Community Center opened, obviously, for the construction and those sorts of things. So we just really are deeply moved by Lee's leadership, and we thank him so very much for that. With that said, one thing we need to do is elect officers up and coming. One, because of Lee's retirement, but also it's time of year that we do that. So can I get a nomination for election of officers? Tom, I'm going to turn to you if you don't mind.
Nominations for the officers, it's for President Cindy Canary, Vice President is Jim Murphy, Treasurer is Jerry Neely, Secretary Joyce Poland.
I would second.
Okay. Any other discussion or any other additions? If not, then we will move to approve the election of officers as, again, Cindy Canary, President, myself, Vice President, Jerry Neely, Treasurer, and Joyce Poland, Secretary. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Thank you. Unanimously is approved. And also, we have a couple of authorizations we need to do here for, well, let's see, number 5, Felicia. I need to do something with number 5, approval of signature authorization form. Is that something we need to do first or the invoices first?
We need to approve our new people who are authorized to sign on
Okay.
behalf of the building corporation. Since Lee Marchant has resigned, then Cindy Canarney was former secretary, so she would move up to the president's office signature, and then Joyce as secretary would move to be able to sign as well. So we probably need a motion to authorize to sign on behalf of the building corporation.
I would so move.
We have a second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. If that's approved as well. So now we will go to the invoices.
So what should do we need to actually sign these specimens
Uh,
and send them back to them?
We will, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so at the end of the meeting, we'll
Okay.
sign and then we'll send those.
Okay, good. Yeah, and they are in the packet as well.
Yeah, and then I'll go ahead and do the E1 report also to update the officers with the Secretary of State.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
So that we can have that up to date.
And our legal counsel, Ted Ferguson, just joined us. Welcome, Ted.
Thank you. Welcome, Jeff. Pothole is coming on the sidewalk right behind me.
Oh, he is? Okay, all righty. So we have the authorization form approved and Cindy and Joyce will need to execute those so Trish can get those filed, and then also the EE forms will be filed as well with the Secretary of State. With that said, we have a couple of invoices for disbursements. And is Jerry on the call? Jerry is our treasurer, and I wanted to ask him if he could present the invoices for consideration. If not, Talisha,
He
would you
wasn't
mind
sure he would-
presenting those
Right.
in his stead?
Okay, okay, great. So in the packet, there are 2 disbursement requisitions. This is the form we fill out to turn into the trustee to pay invoices from the loan that we have with them, the 2016 A and B operation and reserve fund. So Dwayne Vaught has done some work on behalf of the building corporation, filing the taxes, talking to the Monroe County Auditor, State Board of Accounts to get them up to speed with different parts of all of this, answer questions, just kind of annual things that they do to keep things in line. And then also with Ted Ferguson, his invoice is for $600 is the balance due, and that's for legal assistance throughout the year to help with various questions. So, detailed in that.
Great. Any questions or comments on either of these invoices? If not, we'll entertain a motion for approval.
So moved.
Second.
If you have a motion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Thank you. Those have some approved for payment. Thank you so very much. Jeff, how you doing?
Pretty good.
Good to see you. Good to see you.
Good to be here. Good to be
Good.
outside.
Yes, absolutely it is. So we've got, it's a rather short agenda, so we're breezing through it fairly quickly. But I do want to ask Talisha if she can give an update on the properties we have. As you all know, we have a number of properties directly to the south of this building and also to the east in the former Napa site. So we have a number of leases down there that some will be renewing in the near future. And she just wanted to share some information with us. And she and I have been talking a little bit the last couple of weeks about those lease arrangements. And so, yes, if you would give us an update on the properties, we appreciate that.
Sure, yeah. The properties, the residential portions are all leased, and they'll be renewing those again from this July to next July. So those are year leases and have been full since we've owned the property. So that part of it goes really well. We work with Hallmark Management Company to actually do the specific details of the management. The commercial properties, Napa space is empty, but we might have a lead on a tenant there. And then also the property to the south is full. It's my sister's closet, Jeff's warehouse, Blue Tips Billiards, Artisan Alley. All the leases go through 2022, December of 2022, except for Artisan Alley, and theirs ends this December. But we're talking with them. They are interested in renewing. They'd like to renew for 3 to 5 years. I think at this point we're maybe a couple of years renewal. But we're looking through those things right now. So the properties net about $150,000 a year, which has been good. That was about right in the ballpark of what we thought that it would. There aren't any significant structural issues with them. We've done a good job of taking care of those properties. But the tenants are happy being there. They'd like to lease for longer. At this point, we've been doing 1 to 2 year leases.
Okay, good. Do you know, are there any early outs on those? I know that we were talking about the commencement expansion at one time. There was some concern about that. And we continue to extend their lease, but along with that extension, do you know in the lease, is there an early out option for them or not?
Well, I'd have to look at that
Okay,
specifically and see. I don't remember, but that's kind of why we were doing the 1
Just
year,
1 year,
2 years.
2 years.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, great.
That we thought if we start doing anything with it, we'll have a lot of.
Yeah, we'll have a lot of communication
notice.
with them, yes, and we will have time to do that once we start those conversations again about the expansion of the convention center at some point in time in the future. With that said, on our table also is the Bloomington, Indiana, Monroe County room tax receipts, or the hotel bedroom tax receipts. Just now looking at this, so I don't have a lot of information to share with that, other than it looks like, we're doing fairly well. Unfortunately, because they're not totaled through the month of June, I don't know how we are doing, but
Well-
June, 2019 19 and 18.
I think the
Comparison.
super interesting part of those statements is we just got July's in, and it's only 5% behind what 2019 was for that year. So
Okay, good.
it's been very
That's what I
strong.
was. Yeah.
So I think things started picking up. Airbnb business is really strong as well. So it's making up some of that maybe hotels would have not collected.
Mhm.
So that's kind of interesting. But it's slowly coming back. It's mostly leisure market. It's IU related. Not a lot of corporate travel for that.
Mhm. Yeah, and you're right. I think the Airbnbs has really picked up, along with university and the other hotels as well. But as we all know, it's been really devastating the last year and a half. But in talking with Mike McAfee, I'll use one of the reports he gave me a couple of weeks ago that Monroe County has something between 300 and 400 Airbnbs that he's aware of, and that's a lot. And people really love to come to a community, like this, especially if they have a family. They're bringing their son or daughter to university, and they're going to be here for an extended period of time. A lot of them are using Airbnbs versus the hotels. So it's all good for the community, and we are seeing a rise in the occupancy in Monroe County now, which is a good thing. And this fall, as we know, the football is going to be allowing spectators in the stands, at least that's our knowledge as of now. So that will help as well. And I know I can speak on behalf of the Grant Street Inn, special event weekends like that, we're booked. So that's a good thing, because we haven't been booked for quite some time there. So that's very, very positive. So this is good. And thanks for sharing that's within 5% of 2019 year to date. That's very helpful.
Yeah, that's
Appreciate
good.
it. Very good news on that front.
I will mention Jerry joined us also. He's on by Zoom.
Hello, Jerry. Can you hear us?
He's muted.
Oh, well, Jerry, thanks for joining us. I'm glad you're able to do that. Also, by the way, you've been approved and voted in to serve as treasurer again next year going forward. So congratulations.
Well,
And
thank
again,
you very much, Jim. Appreciate it. Somehow I thought this was a Google Meet from an earlier email I got, so I was trying to get out there. Felt kind of lonely all by myself until I saw the most recent, which is a Zoom meet. So I'm glad to be here.
Well, we're glad to have you, and I understand, it's, I get confused often between the in-person meetings and the Zoom meetings, and then you have technology challenges on top of that. So it's good we're all able to get together. So with that said, is there any new business that needs to be brought before the board at this time? The county?
I would just say that the county's working through its ARPA funding, and I think at least with the initial review, the convention center and the modern consortium is still on the list. So, this is not terribly on it, but some will make it, some won't. But as of right now, I think it's still on that list. I think there's going to be probably more communications with the city and else. So. Not directly, but it's in the minds and eyes of the leadership of the county. So I just kind of wanted to express that.
Absolutely, that's great news. Thanks for sharing that with us. Can you share, do you know what the schedule of that decision-making process is going forward? Or is that too ambiguous at this time?
It's fairly ambiguous, I think, at this point. I would expect something to happen college.
Okay.
As far as narrowing down priorities more, I think it's going to get to a point where there's going to be a list of probably 7, 8 things. And then as those projects evolve, it'll be amended to kind of detail out a lot more of those. I think at least one of the commissioners reached out to the WISHA to kind of look at costs of doing kind of thing. I think we have the big $7 million number from them. Who knows how close that is.
Mm-hmm. Right, right.
Everything seems,
Things have changed a lot since then.
things seem to be getting much more expensive. So it's kind of maybe outlining the wish I thought we talked about. What's the enhanced communication internal system replacement? The HVAC is going to cost maybe kind of narrowing down some of that stuff as well to get better numbers.
And I'll share, we did bring in contractors last week because they've like been taking care of the systems over the years and have mentioned things along the way. And so, it's anywhere from like a fire panel, the exterior building, tuck pointing, windows, police trap, elevators, HVAC. So it was real, and there's another 2 pages. But it was a really good opportunity to really go around and look at the building and focus on things that prioritize those things. The building will be 100 years old in a couple of years.
Yes.
Yeah, in 2023. So it's been a good building.
Yes, it has been, 30 years in operation as a community center and a 100-year-old building is pretty good. So yes, we're due for some upgrades and we, that we've been discussing that. So we're glad it's on the list and hopefully it makes the short list and the final cut. And if there's anything we can do, I know, again, you're working with Felicia on that. Felicia, if there's anything you need from us, reach out to us. and let us know.
I would
I
just say
will when
that
it's
there
to
is an
that point.
expression
Yes.
that help should come, right? I think that's what I've heard from council, that this is on their priority list, whether it comes from APRA or a different funding source. I know we still have food and beverage proceeds that could be used for that. There's always more asks than there are funding for, so, I think there may be some creativity.
Okay, great. Well, thank you so much. Anything else to be brought before the board? Hearing none, then we will adjourn. And again, thank you so very much for your attendance.